Hello, have a nice day. My name is Alper. I live with ALS. I am the president of the Turkish ALS MND Association and retired doctor. Thank you for the opportunity given to me at this meeting. Although it's difficult for me to make this presentation, I will try to do my best. On the morning of February 6th, I awoke to a day of great and devastating disaster. Southern Turkey was hit by the largest earthquake ever recorded on land. The images on the TVs were terrible. It was terrifying to even think of possibilities I would experience as an ALS patient, living dependent on someone else during an earthquake. This presentation was created with the help of assistive technology. Like my dear friend Steve Wilson said, until there is a cure for ALS, technology is the cure. Let me start by saying this is very crucial information. The ambu bag is a simple but life-saving equipment. Two devastating earthquakes hit South Turkey. The second earthquake was not an aftershock, but a separate earthquake that made the situation worse. Sorry for the heart-wrenching images. This is the shortest video I could find. Photographs used in this presentation have been obtained with the permission of their respective owners. Just after the earthquake, power outage, mobile phone base stations and roads were damaged. Telephone communication in the first hours was very difficult. The roads were closed, the construction equipment could not reach on time. It was impossible to save the people under the rubble without construction equipment and rescue teams. In this graphic, I try to explain the battery race against time. The electricity to support the home ventilator in the first 24 hours is vital. The second major earthquake and aftershocks posed a great risk to those who could not leave their homes. The first 24 hours are very important because someone else's help is needed for power cuts, race against time, weather conditions, heat loss, fluid loss, injury, air mattress bed, suction needs. Their vital needs are as follows. Like I said before, the amber bag is crucial. Generator, electric blankets and heaters, electric humidifiers, air mattress bed, better operating suction machine and car inverter, portable power bank charger. Drinking water is very important also. Suction catheters, antibiotic and the isotonic solution. The antiseptic solution, pillows, solar cell torch, and of course fuel. Being under the rubble, I can't imagine how can a physically disabled and inactive patient's corporal health. I leave the answer to this question to you. Fortunately, this young man was rescued from under the debris 2 days later. Scientific studies on the better life of home ventilators are very few. Generally, the average better life is between 20 minutes and 2.5 hours. It's known to support up to 8 hours when using an external battery. We ought to be prepared for patients with home mechanical ventilation in the future toward unforeseen large-scale power outages. The oxygen cylinder provides short-term support in case of power cut. Oxygen concentrator consumes UPS power supply due to power consumption. The most logical in this case seems to be the generator. Comparing UPS versus generators, gas generators seems to make sense in large-scale power outages. A warning is needed here. Gas generator can cause carbon monoxide poisoning indoors, in garage also. Patients in the earthquake area were called on the day of the disaster. Emergency call numbers were announced, shared on social media and patient support groups. Urgent needs were identified. However, due to weather and transportation conditions, networking was done with other NGO. NGOs working actively in the region provide support as a disaster platform. Thus, the most urgent needs delivered to the region with the support of the disaster platform. A team was formed to meet face-to-face with our patients affected by the earthquake and to deliver their needs. A caravan was rented for accommodation and other necessities at the earthquake zone. The number of patients and their urgent needs were evaluated. A roadmap has been set. Weather and road conditions were taken into account. And total population affected by the earthquake was 9.1 million. and the estimated patients 550, and association registration 98 patients, and we have reached the first 24 hours to 30 patients and reaching out to association, urging call centers 15 patients, and we are now in follow-up. We have 45 patients. Medical devices and consumables were loaded into the caravan in the order of delivery. Depart from the head office and patient visits began. The first stop is Adana. Adana is the big city that was less affected by the earthquake. The University Research Hospital is the largest hospital in the region. There is representation of the ALS-MND Association in Adana. A new patient registration was made in Belen district. We met with ALS volunteers in the city of Hatay, which was most affected by the earthquake. The generator was delivered to the trailer class of Emral and Güney. The teachers who don't leave their students alone. And another night in that, the weather was cold. Two sisters who lost their mother to ALS disease accompanied us on visits. And during the visit, I tried to call some of our patients, and we tried to conversation. Another volunteer accompanied us, guided us in Diyarbakır. And Malatya is a big city, but affected people living in the rural area. Diyarbakır cuisine is unique in the time of earthquake. So what have we learned from the disaster? The first thing is Alper bag is the primary piece, and reliable patient records are very important. Call all the registered patients and family members. Send SMS messages to all the pals and gals and informing them about emergency call numbers. Emergency pager is life-saving for immobilized and dependent patients. The generator is a lifesaver power supply also. Check the battery level of your medical devices regularly. And don't wait for the help for first 24 hours to find the solution yourself. Hospitals may not be able to provide services also. If possible, keep a disaster kit in the car, and it's very important to have drinking water. Cell phones should always be fully charged, and solidarity with non-governmental organizations is important. And we have the disabled rights should be improved, and send realistic and credible reference call letters to alliance, associations, and communities. Thank you, our wonderful directors and my dedicated team. And thanks for your patience. I'm grateful to my fellow Alliance members for their financial and moral support.
So, are there any questions? Gutchen?
Thank you for this presentation, my friend, and I just want to tell you that this has moved us in the right direction in Iceland, that we are now preparing ourselves a lot more than we did before. So we are learning a lot from you. And I hope you have a good rebuilding process with all your work. Thank you.
Thank you, Kuchar, for your comments. And like always, we cannot success without the friends' help. And I would like to thank all my friends for their offers of help and heartwarming messages during this trouble, and consolation and relief support after the great disaster. We are lucky enough that we have such a wonderful friends, and I would like to underline the importance of the non-governmental organization solidarity. And you have to do yourself in your alone first 24 hours. So it's very crucial information after the natural disaster. Thank you very much.
Other questions? Yeah.
Hello, Alper. It's David Ali from MND Australia. Thank you for that presentation. I was a bit curious about you had a list of the lessons learned from the disaster, and it was an incredibly practical list. But one of the things you had on the list was around disability rights should be improved, and I just sort of wondered what you mean by that in the context of a disaster. Thank you.
Yeah, this is not only the issue in our country, in our home country, but we learned that there is a few organizations working together entire Europe and the Anatolia and the east side of the world. And so we try to reach to other organizations and the communities, but what we saw that there is no enough work about the natural disaster. Yes, there is some research and some working about the preventing disaster, but there's a few information about during the disaster and if after the disaster first 24 hours. This is very crucial, like I said before. And so we have to take a step, but the disability rights under this devastating natural disaster, I think.
And thank you, Alper and Deniz, for this overview and presentation. And we send you all warm greetings and lots of love.